It was what pisses me off about gay people, to be honest with you. Like, okay, so pretty much like you had like the Emancipation Proclamation, and you had like all kind of other stuff throughout history that like gender equality and women's rights and stuff like that. That's all considered progressive stuff, right? Acceptance of black people, acceptance of different cultures and such, so on and so forth, right? And that considered progressive, and that is progressive, as all men are created equally, right? But there's certain things that there's certain morals, certain codes that as people we gotta hold on to. We gotta hold on to certain ethics. You gotta draw the line somewhere. See, you can't life just can't be a big free for all. It's just the bottom line. You can't just have a big free for all. You gotta put up some type of walls, put up some type of rules in life, and then you're gonna get somewhere in life. But if a life is a big free for all, guess what happens to countries that have no rules, have no laws, have no regulations? Man, they fall apart. Just take one look at Africa, you'll see how it is over there, man. Only the countries with the most rules and the most the most governing bodies, those are the ones who kind of get to the top. You gotta draw the line in the sand somewhere. And when people say that the accepting of the LGBT community is the next step in human advancement, human evolution, as if like pairing like acceptance of black people, acceptance of women's rights, acceptance of all these things in with LGBT communities, man, that makes me really grind my gears. That really pisses me off, because you've got people who really truly think that's an advancement of culture, like as if I'm the man, if I'm the 1960 guy who's standing out there on the street being like, yo, black people should still be subservient to the white man. So I'm an equivalent of that today by 2016 standards in my views toward gay, homosexuality, LGBT. Right? See what I'm saying? I mean, it's just really, really frustrating when people don't see it as clearly as I see it. It's you got to make rules, you got to make boundaries and limitations, because if you don't, then things will go awry. Now, people could say to me, yo, well, who cares if one guy is gay? Who cares if the next guy is gay? Who cares about any of that? So what if one person identifies as one gender, one person identifies as another gender? You're still going to wake up and go to sleep in the same bed, so why do you even care? I'll tell you why I care. I care because it's real simple. It's real simple. Okay, I care because if you go ahead and you see that kind of stuff, it will blur the lines between masculinity and femininity. And once you do that, then people wonder why we don't have no real men in this world. Why don't we have any real men? Where do they all go? Well, it's real simple. The rules, the lines of masculinity and femininity are being blurred through these LGBT, because it brings a divide, brings a huge divide between these two sects of individuals, right? So therefore, because of that, you're going to go ahead and you're going to have men who are feminine. You're going to have women who are masculine, and thus you're going to have an imbalance in the genders. And if you have an imbalance in the genders, you're going to have an imbalance in relationships. You got to understand this. In other words, people always complaining, there's no real men in the world. There's no real real men for the women, right? Well, where did all those men go? They didn't just disappear. They're still here, right? They're still here. The reason where they all went is because when the lines of sexuality and gender were blurred, they lost their contact. They lost with their inner man, because the lines are blurred. Nobody knows what a man is anymore. A real man is almost like a unicorn. Any women watching this know what I'm talking about. A real man is like a unicorn. You ain't never see him anymore. That's because of all this gender blurring. So that's the problem. That's really the essential part and parcel and meaning of why the acceptance of LGBT is bad for the society, because you got men and you got women, right? And one is attracted to the other. That makes the world go around. That makes it all go around, right? If you got a big monkey wrench being thrown in, where somebody doesn't know they're man, somebody doesn't know if they're a woman, you are pretty much born into the society with a free, equal liberty to go ahead and express whatever you want to express. That seriously blurs the lines and sends the wrong messages to the wrong people, which means that essentially they'll lose that women will lose that inherent attractiveness towards the male, which is why you got women who are constantly leaving their men, who are constantly getting nowhere, constantly leaving their men for other men, because they're constantly in search of that real man, that real male who in our society really don't exist. So pretty much what you got here is now you got dudes acting like women, right? You got guys hanging low, they're going ahead and they're interrupting other men. They're talking way up here. I mean, the men are acting like women, and it's all due in part and parcel to this gay relationship, LGBT, right? And the problem is, if you really go ahead and you become anybody, right? You become a public figure. You really got to go ahead and you got to feed into this, because if you don't feed into it, you're seen as somebody who's putting out hate speech, right? Or you're set back in your ways. You're not along with the time. So really, this nation's all confused, right? You see the way it's going. The nation's a couple trillion in debt. It's no question. It's no accident, and it's no accident. People getting divorced at record high rates. So all this stuff. Think about this, and try to. There's a reason for all. It didn't just accidentally happen. So all that said, you got to think about the fact that, bottom line is, if you're gay, right? If you feel that you're gay, try to change that. Try to make an adjustment in the positive, so you can go ahead and become a straight man, become a straight woman, and try to live your life in that way. This way, you can do your part to uphold to the lines of masculinity and femininity, and as to how nature intended. Alright, man, that's just about it, man. Hope you disliked the video. I'll see you guys all later. Peace.